1, 2, 3. Arcana Core. Oh, I went back to standby on accident. There we go, we're back. Good. I have a keyboard to make this easier, and I still pressed the wrong one. I'm smart.
Everyone say Arcana Core in reverse and we're trying again. What is it, Arcana?
Oh gosh, we're finally here at the end. Thank everybody for sticking with us this entire time. I've loved that everybody's been hanging out in the chat and has been really hooked on the events going on so far. In fact, I am so grateful for it. I will face cam. Gosh, like you've never seen my face before.
Oh my god, I've got to unpause my video so I can see.
Hi, hello. How's it going? Hello, everybody.
Oh, look at you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the final part of Arcana Core. This has been a wild ride, and we have reached the denouement. Indeed. In this last segment, we will be having a series of Taro-inspired dream sequences. We have our Taro deck right here. It is very shiny. It is Vaporwave themed. Yes, I have a dice earring. It's very sexy. I enjoy. I specifically got new earbuds so I could hear the audio and you can see the bling at the same time. It's very important.
It really is important.
But yes, we are going to be doing a live reading in a different way to normal Taro readings, but it's going to be a fun time. Each of them is going to be based on one of the characters involved. I'm not responding to that message in chat. Thanks, Tom.
Wow.
I decline to even deign that answer. But what we're going to be doing is just a little bit of reading into the future of our heroes. Are they protagonists? Well, that's what we're going to find out. So let's go get a vibe. This one. Let's look.
Ooh, this one's a good choice. Good job, Nathan.
So I'm going to deal 4 cards. We're going to be going in order of that I have already set. We are going to be doing Sunichi first, then Sabine, then Gawain, then Lucian. We're going to reveal a card, discuss its meaning, and then we're going to go and have a scene elsewhere, to which we're going to, work out on the fly what's going to be in those scenes, who's going to be in them, what's the background, and so on and so forth. So, Sunichi, give me a number so I can cut the deck.
17.
Okay. Sabine, give me a number.
6.
I have no idea if the card flipping is showing up on mic or not. Hopefully it is. Gawain.
Yes. Finally.
What's the card number range?
I mean, choose between 1 and 20 sensibly. You can go higher than that, but you'll be hearing me flip a lot more.
Okay. Oh, my favorite number is 7, so
Okay.
I would like a 7.
And finally, Lucian.
4, please.
The cards have all been set into place. The future will soon be revealed. Who of our wonderful main characters is truly a protagonist, and who is merely set to be a side character? First, we're going to be looking at Sunichi. Yes, Sunichi, the devil. Somebody who, at their best, can shake what you understand about yourself. And on the other side of things, indeed, the devil at their worst, well, they'll take you for all that you have. Lure you in with false promises and then leave you shackled in chains. In fact, Sunichi is also at risk of being shackled in chains. They too are oppressed by a higher power. So, Sunichi, we have the question for you. Why should you deserve to stay in Jungsburg. And with that, we reveal our first card. It is the Moon reversed. The Moon. Largely revealing, largely discussing matters of dreams and illusions. Reversed may signify that the querent is trapped within dreams and false promises. With so many false ideas around what is really the truth. So with that, let's go and decide what this first dreamscape is going to look like. Do we have Sunichi with that kind of like discussion of the card meaning in mind? Where would you like this sequence to be?
I'm always tempted to have some sort of standoff at the docks kind of thing.
We can do that. For a while, let's just vibe. While the backgrounds fall into place. It does take a while to set up these particular dream sequences, you see. There are a lot of moving parts. But we're hard at work to make sure that the story keeps flowing naturally.
I think if it's like the last dream sequence, I might rope everybody in on this one.
Understood. I have that. I have the graphic handy, but for some reason I am not finding it in the list. Did I just make it so long ago? Complaining. Right.
I was going to say the docks at
got it.
Elysium Isle. Oh, no.
Hopefully it's letting me actually summon it into the world. That would be fantastic. Or maybe it's just being bad. That's fine. Ah, cool. It summoned 3 of them at once because I was smashing the button.
The good news is that this song is a bop regardless.
Oh,
so...
this song is very, very good. I've been, like, passively having it on while working on scenery and stuff like that. So, yeah, it is a good one. Right, there is one last thing that we do want here. We want... Ah, you said that you want your allies with you,
Possibly with the perception to pull Andy into it, maybe.
Yeah, we can definitely explore that. All right, let's get Agent Fields in. I've got this crew.
I don't know if you've got something for random mafia mooks as well.
Well, I've kind of got what I feel this is going to represent itself. Because dreams are nothing if not what we already have seen and known, re-reflected in states. So I can only use existing assets in many senses. Before that, though, it seems that the card is now ready. Your dream will be imminent, but we should probably introduce ourselves formally. We are Clematis and Gloriosa, the Brothers Grimm. We hope that you enjoy this story to its fullest.
That rules, not gonna lie. Pretty cool. Didn't think about the Brothers Grimm. Very nice.
Yeah.
We have a at the docks, and normally it would be a cheerful tune, but for some reason there is a tension in the air, a sadness as Sunichi stands alone on the docks. The sun is starting to set, and in the distance you see a cruise liner coming into port. As it gets closer and closer, you notice that this thing is covered in rust. Almost like a ghost ship. Your phone goes off.
Hey, Sunichi here.
It seems like it's going to be the end of the line for you. We were very patient in making sure that you would be able to pay your dues on time, but it seems that you're not, willing to do what it takes. So, we're coming for you. It's only fair, after all.
I'm going to say something which I mean in absolute, well, honestly, and from the bottom of my heart. Bring it, Carolina, you bitch, says, and hangs up the phone.
You hang up the phone, and the voice echoes entirely separately from the phone still. Oh, you can run. You can hang up your phone if you'd like to, but we're still here. We're always here. We're always watching. As it stands, it's just you here alone. What are you going to do alone?
That was the mistake I made earlier. I tried to do it alone. That's what drove me to you lot in the first place. And then when it all went wrong, I tried to fix it on my own again. I might not be the brightest, most studious member of this lovely city, but I do learn my lesson.
Ah, fantastic.
And I'm not running again.
I just noticed I had a stray bit of map there. Never mind, it's fine. You're not alone. Well, if you're going to scream and cry for your friends because you can't do this alone, scream and cry for them. I want to hear you scream, Sunichi. It's all that you deserve.
Lovely to hear that from a petty 2-bit crook.
Make a change the game roll for me, Sunichi.
Use your bonds.
I'm going to use my bonds.
Yes.
Not, I think
I'm
it
the
is.
voice of.
Very boss.
Hey, God! This is the other gods. Don't listen to Nathan. Just do what you want.
I mean, Sunichi, you also have that tag that I gave you.
Oh, yes, the meta.
As somebody, and I can discuss this. Sorry. Under our current circumstances, I suppose we might as well explain to you what being fully fiction really means. Indeed. If you should happen to fully become your mythos, well, you become aware of the story in all of its aspects. You know everything about the way that this story is being told, outside of oneself. That you're being played by an actor. That you are, moving from screen to screen, that you both exist as a person and as an object. But that knowledge is a heavy crown to put upon one's head.
Okay. So I shall reach the meta-awareness to adjust the story. It's not Sunichi here on my own, because he's not just Sunichi anymore. He's also his mythos, Moriarty, the gentleman duelist, the spider at the web centre, and the architect of the perfect crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be applying the tags Napoleon of Crime, and I think I'll probably go to the laws of man don't apply to me, along with meta-awareness.
Never has it been more appropriate than
Indeed.
now. Okay.
So that wants to go up to 3. Sorry, I just put a random tag on there just to get it to roll to 3. And then get rich from my rerolls if this goes wrong.
What's
So
a
I
mess?
shall reach back as the flickering of trying to change things. And where are we? Let's call upon Goin for our newfound sort of understanding of each other.
Mhm.
That'll
Oh.
do.
Oh,
Thank
Oh.
you, Goin.
absolutely.
No problem.
Okay, I think that creates Goin in the space for at minimum.
Hmm.
Goin is here. What do you
Yo.
actually do to call for your friend, Sunichi? What do you say and or do?
Let's have a think. Goin, I think these petty criminals need taking down a peg or two. They seem to think they're running this town. I think they need to be shown that they're a lot more grassroots than they think they are.
Man, what kind of good-for-nothing, crooked, pathetic adults would go after a 15-year-old with a cigarette business? Something like that really pisses me off. In fact, I'm gonna write something like this into my backstory when I make it big, when I hit the wrestling pro scene. But for now, I got your back. And we're going to show these guys who are really in charge.
Mhm. And I think I already have the tokens for Lucian, Agent Fields, and Sabine available. But let me know in what order they manifest.
Yeah. So I think Agent Field's last.
Mhm.
I think pulling
They also need
Lucian,
to-
then Sabine. I think.
We have Lucian manifests.
Let's then go to Lucian. You were always better at seeing your way through things than I was. I need your leadership now more than ever.
Don't worry. And Lucian places a hand on Shinichi's shoulder. This is going to end in our favor. You can trust me.
Suddenly start looking more confident as it goes on.
Mhm.
I think the next call, Sabine. Even before things were rewritten, I think of all the group, you were the one who understood me the best, and the hardships that I was so careful at hiding. I think I need your support again, my friend.
Sabine walks up from behind you and like grabs you by the neck and gives you a nuggie and lets go and says, "Missed you too, Mori. Let's get down to work." Got a light, by the way?
I like cutting it fine. And I guess the thing that sort of tops this, Andy, I've done a great time watching over us through all these sheer mad events that we've all been through. I think I probably owe you a bit of an explanation for our last couple of capers, which I'll look forward to delivering my report in full.
See, that's the thing about working with teenagers. Boundless enthusiasm, impressive imagination, but you will make mistakes. And that's okay. That's part of growing up, and it's part of my job to make sure that your mistakes don't crush you. You can rely on me. It's why I do this job. It's not, I respect all of you, even if you are in a position to want to learn, needing to learn more about both this job and the world itself. It's partially my responsibility to support you through that, even if nobody else is going to. The ship is now in port.
Go away, Caroline. Your part in the story is well and truly done. You were never little more than a minor piece of the fiction anyway.
Keep watching out, Phil. The figures in the shadows. the men that you do not recognize, the tapping at your window, because even if you're not afraid of me, even if you have backup, you'll be alone at some point, Sunichi Mori. And the Tolado family will be waiting.
Maybe it's time for a new family to step in at some point.
And with that, so it seems that what really is motivating Sunichi after all this time was his friendship network. Isn't that sweet? If a little trite, maybe, but still, it's what audiences are interested in. They like a tidy conclusion like that. Well, I would say that a decent number of the audience would be more interested in Sunichi taking that cane gun to the member of the Tolado family himself. But we don't have an art asset for that, so that was never going to happen. I suppose so. I suppose so. But for now, we shouldn't be distracted. We should get on with the next reading. Indeed, the next card. It is a reading for Sabine. We want to find out, are there any facets of you that are real? After all, you're now two people, and both of those people are, in some ways, a lie. So what of yourself still deserves to exist in this world? And that shall be found out with the following card. The Upright Magician. Ah, how fortuitous. I do believe that's Lucian's Arcana. So, shall we find out what story they will finally tell, now that we're at the end of the road? Where would you like your scene to take place, Sabine?
I mean, did you fix that?
No.
Did you draw that?
Welcome to Taro, baby!
Oh,
The
mystic
ultimate
witchcraft,
call-out machine.
Witchcraft.
Ultimate call-out machine.
The cards never lie.
All right. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that I did that scene earlier. Then, let's go to the library.
Will do. In the meantime, how did we feel about that last scene? Feel free to discuss the preceding scenes as I put together the next ones.
Oh man.
So proud
Thank
of
you, everybody,
Shinji.
saving my ass.
Yeah, we got these teens will protect you from the mafia.
Don't worry, dude. New Sabine is in the money. She lives in the Heights. She can just have her parents pay off your debt for you. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
This is going to be a very interesting scene to go into with Lucian not being a librarian anymore.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. Like time skip Lucian, and he just runs a biker gang now. He's got like they've got like a huge pompadour, and they go like, "Oi, oi, nanda,
Oi,
nanda."
They have
Mm.
two eye patches. and
Then he's
they
good.
they can see through echolocation.
Is Lucian now? Is it the Lucian Everywhere system now?
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Okay,
Lucian is
okay.
like the
I
specialist
I
one.
think as a result, this is gonna mean that I need to go and summon Evelina Tipsickery. So give me a second.
Oh no, not her.
She has shown up a surprising number of times for somebody who is a very, very minor character.
Was that the one we almost beat to a bloody pulp?
No, Evelina is the head librarian and Lucian's boss, or was Lucian's boss. She showed up when you were all experimenting with card tricks at the pier previously.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Do you think you're bringing me to this scene? Or
Oh
am I
yes,
bringing
this is
you?
this is Sabine's
this is
dream
my-
sequence. So Lucian is being pulled. Whether this is the actual Lucian or an echo therein is up to you to decide, I suppose.
Mm.
I'd personally like for it to be the real Lucian, but obviously It's all your call.
I'm okay with this being a real Lucian right now.
Okay,
Alright.
the stage is now set.
Or real.
Right.
We are in the historic quarter.
Okay.
Let me play the music for the historic quarter. There we go. The library stretches out indefinitely. You've been to this building a handful of times, but you always seem to get lost. There's always another wing, another floor, another staircase that you hadn't previously seen, and it's frustrating to be here.
Sabine is in a pretty, like, fashionable but modest outfit, something she would never wear before. We can see that it's, current timeline. Sabine, she's walking along the halls of the books and throughout all the rows, eyeing up the shelves, looking at titles, stopping for a minute, popping one out, browsing through the pages.
As you look through the pages of one of the books, you realize that it is your memories written down. This one seems to be about your 6th birthday party. You were at a bowling alley, actually. You were way too small to be able to roll the ball yourself. You were clearly too tiny. Mostly this was just the best venue your parents could hold was a pizza party. But they did get the like little slide that you could push the ball down. And there's a fond memory moment where you push the ball down, not really knowing what you're doing, but you land a strike, and that was the highlight of your day. And you see
That's
that written in detail as it was freshly remembered on this page.
Yeah, Sabine gives like a, a really nice like smile and a chuckle, and yeah, I remember that. And she closes the book and puts it back in its spot in the shelf, and keeps walking through the library, and she sees Lucian, who I think, in this scenario, it's the day that Lucian is handing in their resignation. So maybe, she approaches Lucian, who's at the front desk of the library or something, and she...
I am still very disappointed by this decision, Lucian. You were my best apprentice. I was considering putting you up for the formal exam. You would have been formally recognized as a librarian. It's not a difficult one, but I knew you'd been able to pass it. What a depressing change of heart.
I appreciate that, and it's not a decision I made lightly, but I couldn't shake the feeling that if I just stayed as a librarian, or stayed in the library and become a librarian, it wouldn't mean much.
Part of me does wonder if your new friends are part of the reason to blame for this decision.
Lucian smiles and does a kind of lazy shrug.
Very well.
think it-
The paperwork
maybe
will
it
take some time to
doesn't-
process, and then, yeah.
Lucian, thought I'd find you here.
Sabine, you have very interesting timing coming here.
Well, I'm glad I didn't come too late. You wanna grab a table with me?
Sure. What's on your mind?
Who are you talking to, Lucian?
Oh man, Lucian pauses, turns, and then after that much time in real life, taps their ear, specifically an ear turned away from Evelina, as if Lucian has an earpiece in. And then
Bringing in a
think-
Bluetooth headset into this library. You have become a disgrace, honestly.
Oh man, Lucian just visibly grimaces at that. In spite of everything, it still hurts. Lucian says under their breath, let's move to a corner to speak.
I think, like, yeah, I guess by the time that you, like, turn around and go to, like, where the corner that you would sit down and talk, like, Sabine is already there. She's, like, thumbing through a book. And she looks up at you and says, Lucian, please, have a seat. Some very interesting revelations have come to mind lately, and I think that you're just the person that I need to speak with about them.
You flick through this book, and it seems that these chapters are the same, but told very differently each time. One is the story of Sabine Kistner, who moved to Jungsberg to get away from their abusive parents. Another chapter is Sabine Kistner, who moved to Jungsberg when they were 3 years old because their father got a really lucrative business deal in the Heights. There is a chapter of Sabine Kistner, who moved to Jungsberg once she finished her engineering degree to work and research on the Elysium Islands. None of these could simultaneously be true.
I don't know how much of me is real and how much of me exists solely in the fiction. She looks around, starting to think that the Sabine that you once were teammates with, and the Sabine that I guess technically you are currently a teammate with, I think that we're all sort of parts of a bigger whole. An agent, in a weird way, of mythos itself. We're... how do I put this? We are fictional, but we also exist at the same time. Kind of like a converging point for multiverses meeting at one spot. I'm that spot. So the Sabine that you knew before, she was real. Sabine that you know now is real, and she like slaps the back of the book that she's holding, and the Sabine who became president of the country, she's real too. But you know, the reason I wanted to talk to you here at the library and before you were completely done with your job, while you still had some attachment to this place, I need you to curate me. I need you to remember me. The me's that maybe won't have a chance to have another run in the real world. There's a lot of me around here, and the two of me's that you've met, very thankful to have known you. And I know I'd be really thankful if by the time that I move on, someone was around to remember them.
Lucian reaches out to put a hand on Sabine's to comfort her. Am I even able to touch her?
Lucian, since this is the real Lucian, as it were, you try and fail, and then you think about it, how all fictional things work in this world. They're as real for as long as you believe in them. Do you believe in this Sabine Kistner?
What an interesting question.
After all, this might not actually be the real Sabine Kistner, just another facet that was written to speak to you.
You know, I think Lucian raises their hand to or like lifts their hand to reach out and says, Sabine, I appreciate that. And if it's of any comfort, just because something's fictional doesn't mean it's not real. And Lucian places their hand onto Sabine's, and it does not go through.
she clasps another hand on top of yours, and she, squeezes it, taps it a couple times, and she like stands up, pushes her chair out, and walks over to a nearby window, one that you hadn't really noticed was there before. You can see her silhouette lit up by the rays of the sun, and arms crossed or folded behind her back at the small of her back. I have a favor to ask of you, Lucian. You don't have to do this, but seeing as you're about to have a lot of free time on your hand, I figured I might as well take a shot. I know what you said just now about just because I'm fictional doesn't mean I'm not real, but there is a real me out there. Whether it doesn't matter what she's doing, where she is, what she means for the other me's. I want you to find her, if you can. If you can find her and learn everything that you can about her. And if you could tell her that I exist, and that the other me exists, and that she looks around, the countless other me's exist. Just to let her know. Might be a fun distraction for you.
Sabine, as you've been saying this, Lucian has been looking down, and there's been a shadow cast over the top part of his face. And they step forward and put a hand on your shoulder, Sabine, and say, "You're going to be able to meet her sooner than you think, too."
She smiles, she nods, and a single tear rolls down her cheek as she disappears. And you're left standing in that corner of the library looking out the window. You look out the window and you see the Ferris wheel that you and old Sabine had your conversation on.
Okay. I think with that. So, let me get this straight. None of the Sabines are real? Yes, I know, right? How frustrating. Well, I suppose it's partially our fault. We did put it into their heads that they might not necessarily consider themselves to be real people. But what are lab rats if they don't have a sense of self? Frustrating. Oh well, onwards and upwards, onwards and upwards. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Quite. The third reading. I'm sorry, they're so mean.
Please don't say you drew the Death Arcana.
Stretching. Indeed, we shall be drawing the third card this time relating to Goy. The question we want to ask: why chase something you don't even know exists? After all, you never did meet Suar. The person that you saw outside that struck the fear of the world into you? Or do you even know that's the person you're seeking? Just coincidence? I do suppose stories are filled with coincidences. The card is the Five of Swords, reversed.
Oh man.
The sword suit largely has to do with intellect and reasoning. Although the Five of Swords is actually not necessarily so pleasant of a card. It usually has an involved level of conflict. That I just want to go and confirm. I have memorized a lot of this, but not quite. Oh my god, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I just looked up the meaning. That's really fucking good too. Shit.
The Five of Swords. What your thought processes mean and do are being held back by an external force. So, Just what is tethering you to this story?
Oh man. Oh man.
Mhm.
That's juicy. Um
Oh, no, too intense. Not that.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's not what I
Okay,
meant
yeah.
to do at all.
Who am I
Let's
who am
go
I
for
wrestling?
this. Yeah,
Jeez.
okay, cool.
Okay, so this is a tough question because the answer to that like is yeah, I think that all leads back to Delane, right? To his dad.
Mhm,
Because he is chasing after Sua, his
mhm,
mom, or like the story that his dad has told him about her,
mhm.
with no way of actually verifying this. And I don't know. I clearly haven't gotten rid of the tags to of I can't face her. I've reduced it one, but I don't know.
It should be. Oh, did I not give you a second opportunity to reduce that? That should be reduced to 2.
Okay.
Reduced by 2. But it's not fully gone. But it's not like it's not nothing either.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I want to do? I think I don't want to have an NPC conversation. I think the real elephant. Sorry, the real elephant in the room is just going and Sabine just
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about
okay.
like.
Going in Sabine. That's fine. Let me.
And I
sort some
think
stuff out.
I do think I want everyone else there because I don't think Shinichi's gotten a chance to. So like maybe like this is the imagined version of Shinichi, but I want Shinichi to also explain himself to be able to like, or just to Tom the voice that explanation to the rest of the characters, because I think that's like, the honesty is something that Lucian craves, but also that everyone else needs that clarification.
Okay. So just to be clear, we are Delane and Sue are definitely going to factor. Sunichi is here. Did you say that Lucian and Sabine are also here?
Shinichi and Lucian are also here, yeah.
Shinichi and Lucian
Just a round table chat. I was like, hey, let's have a
Give
campfire
me
moment.
A moment to go and find your
But
apartment.
so that last scene though, that was rough.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm
I have-
trying not to dwell on it much, but while we're setting this up, please do discuss it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, damn, I don't know if I don't know if, like, I honestly can tell, like, did I do a bad thing in wishing a new life for, and this is me as Ruben, right?
Mhm.
And I just, like, it's so ambivalent.
I mean,
And-
bad in what way?
Right. Because
Bad is it bad for the story? I don't think so. Was it bad for that character? Well, we can't really know.
yeah.
Well, I don't think that there's, I guess, posthumously, there's always been.
Oh, you are super quiet,
you
Marcy.
are,
Yeah.
you're very tiny.
He just, popped out one N64 cartridge of a
Marcy, I can barely hear you. I think your mic is either dying or you've moved quite far away.
Oh,
There we
mic
go.
no mic was up. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, what you were saying?
I don't remember.
Apologies.
I heard the word posthumously.
Hmm.
I think that all of the Sabines always existed. I
Right.
think we can kind of make that posthumously true after the fact. Like now that, that wasn't always my idea of the character, but now we know that they've always existed. So basically, I don't think you did a bad thing by doing that. What you really wound up doing was like popping out an N64 cartridge with one Sabine and just putting another one like
Yeah.
already existed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Fitting in with the vague Evangelion theme of Nemesis's and the plug suit, I'm just unfortunately now imagining the party just going down into the darker depths of Ryder HQ and there's just tanks full of Sabines floating there.
Oh
Like,
my god.
oh no!
yeah,
no.
exactly. No,
That
yeah.
potentially could have been an ending, I
That's
guess.
possible,
Wow.
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Adult Sabine is an awesome character, but she wound up being more Ray. Who would have guessed?
All right. I do believe that we're ready to continue our reading. Let's move into Goyne's dream and see what's really tethering him down and holding him back. He is the Hanged Man Arcana, after all. Work with me, please. Don't just give me the roof. That's not what's there. I think at this point I now have so many assets. Roll20 is like having a hemorrhage in trying to summon the right things.
Right.
Because I'm currently, at least in terms of what the stream is seeing, is getting the school roof, and that's not what's there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I accidentally put it on the wrong layer? No,
Well,
I
it looks
didn't.
like it's loaded up now. Or...
I
Ah.
can see the apartment now.
Oh,
Yeah, why
On the stream?
is thing being weird?
is the stream just lagging behind slightly? Or...
I basically have two instances of Roll20 open at once. One that I'm
Ah.
actually actively GMing from, and then one that the stream can see.
Mhm.
And one that the stream can see is stuck in the past.
no.
Let me see if I can get it to think about that harder. If it comes down to it, I might need to refresh my browser, but we'll see. Come on. Ugh. Alright, let me refresh the browser.
Well, I guess we're just hanging out on a rooftop.
Yeah, just vibing. Hold on. Man, we managed to... There we go. It managed to behave very nicely for basically the whole campaign, and now it's like, no, don't want it. Hate it. Right, okay. Oh, with that out of the way, let's pick a vibe. Going, you are alone in your apartment. It's dark out. Dark in a way that you cannot actually see what's outside.
Yeah. I think going is like the like he's just sitting at the kitchen table, having like stale bowls, like a bowl of old cereal, and like milk almost reaching expiration date, and he's just like having his usual breakfast. And I think like a breakfast ritual that he used to do is pull back a seat for himself and also another one next to him for Kim. But I don't think Kim's there. I don't think Kim is like in the picture right now because he's just been so, I don't know. It's been weird with him, and I think like he has like a newspaper in front of him that he isn't paying attention to, unless his dad walks in, and then he quickly like picks up the newspaper and pretends that he's way more mature than he gets to be, and he is.
There's a pause, but your dad does not arrive.
Right. I put down the newspaper, and I think like once the newspaper hits like the flat surface of the table, it just the contents turn into the card that I used to basically write Sabine out of her own story. It's just like pages upon pages of that card, and I'm looking at that, and like my cereal spoon falls out of my hand, and like a very slow motion tragic shot of just cereal flakes going everywhere. And going just whimpers. Jesus, Sabine, did I do the right thing? I don't know who I saw when we fought. I don't know if that's you. I don't know if I did that for the right reasons. Maybe I was jealous. Also, yeah, I have two musics playing at the same time.
Oh, you have two instances?
Yeah, I think you might have hit play on the wrong.
God. I'm only getting one, but that at the very least, that should be fixed now.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
At the very least, people who are tuning in are only getting one audio. Sorry for that.
Right. And I guess he looks up from his newspaper and sees Lucian and Sunichi. Like, well, hi. Jeez, sorry. Do you want cereal?
You know what? I've already had something this morning, so Sunichi with a smile.
I'm also fine, thank you. But I do appreciate the offer.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just out of it since everything. Man, I just look. I've got a lot of beans to spill. Now I recognize that much, but I don't know. I don't want to, make it seem like that was ever more important than like what we've got going on with Ryder and our team. It's just, let me just explain to you that this story is the hardest I believe in. It's the one I believe in the most. I've never met my mom, Sua, her name is. At least I think so. My dad told me. Hold on, there's a cat scratching at my door. Bijou,
Everybody's a critic.
Bijou wants in on this hot drama.
Going, it's fine. Let the
My
cat out.
mom. Thinking about my mom. It scratches at my brain all the time.
Hi, Beelzebub. How are you?
It's Beelzebub.
Throwback to session 1, I think. Yeah, this is all I know about my mom is that it's through my dad. She could be in Korea, in a hospital somewhere, but recently, like a couple days ago, he told me that he doesn't know where she is. So, is that a step to the conversation where he goes like, well, son, she never existed. She's not alive. Don't bother. It's something I want to believe in, have to believe in, because, any parent, the other parent's got to be better than the one I am living with. And that's just something I'm holding on to. And I figured if I became the protagonist, if I really donned the proper role and did the kayfabe and pleased the crowd, I could reach it. I could see her again, or ever at all.
You
Even
think
if-
about her, and that in itself is difficult for a while.
There's just a crossed out face for me. I see a silhouette with no face, like those guards we saw at the casino in Reggie's World. And that was all, aesthetics, dreamlike. And the more I'm pursuing this, the more I'm realizing how scared I am of finding that out. That she actually might just be for show. And she isn't real, so to speak, that she's just been as part of a long forgotten past as Sabine 1.0. I don't know. This is as heavy for breakfast. I'm sorry.
Going, it's okay. You're trying to do the right thing, and though I think it wasn't your intent, I think, well, I think you've still helped out an awful lot.
Yeah, it's easy to make mistakes, but actually owning up and trying to do something to fix it afterwards, it's where it truly comes.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I tricked everyone. I tricked Lucian. I think I deceived you the most because, after that debriefing with Sunichi, we talked and I took your side knowing full well that I was lying to you just through my teeth. Shinichi, and sorry for just owning you that good. Just gotta admit though, that was a good one.
I'm very sorry I shot you, says Sunichi, looking at...
I think that's fair. I did try to suplex you at one point.
Maybe we could potentially put together plans for some sort of summer holiday, says Sunichi. I hear Seoul's quite nice this time of year, and
Mhm.
maybe we don't play the games of the writers and the audience, and
Yeah.
go find out things and find the actual truth. And
I
I
mean,
think that's
Lucian is nodding and then kind of like leans over the table and says, I like the way you're thinking, and if we're lucky, we'll get to take that vacation sooner than you might have imagined.
really, you know something we don't.
Lucian, I think does a little chuckle to themselves as they cover their mouth and then they kind of lean back. No, I wouldn't quite say that. I mean, I'm not. Well, I'd say I'm not working with any cards that you don't have, but. Can we cut the scene there, or is there?
No, I was one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Gwen goes, anyway, that vacation sounds nice, and I don't want to play any more competitive games between the team. But I've heard about these other things we can play. It's like you make a party, and you get to be whoever you want to be. I guess they're called role-playing games. You can play them on the tabletop. I'd like to try that.
only nerds do that, says Sunichi under his breath.
Yeah,
I like that as an ending point, if that's
Yeah.
okay. That's very good.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Good.
Goodness, so they're getting better now? Only we're allowed to go and do the self-recursion thing here. They're starting to edge in on our territory. Very tiresome. Is he even going to tie up his whole plot arc that we set up with Suar? After all, that was supposed to be a piece of equivalent exchange, making Sabine's story easier to make his story harder. But if he's just going to give up on the search... God, why do we even waste our time on these people? Yeah, I'm starting to have second thoughts about making them protagonists now. Maybe we should choose someone else. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We have to finish up. Okay. I suppose we have to go and cover the last card now, don't we? It's Lucian's card this time. We wanted to pose the following question. How will you survive with the truths you now bear? After all, while Lucian hasn't necessarily gone and broken all of their Logos cards into Mythos. After all, there were other characters in this story who were working far harder at that than them, so the fact that they want to go and claim that they have now mastered the story at this point is gauche, but what are you going to do about it, I suppose? To reveal the final card, indeed. It is the Ace of Pentacles upright. Now, Pentacles are a measure of wealth, both physical and in terms of talent. To be using anything of the Pentacle suit in a reading is usually talking about your own wealth, the wealth of those close to you, who has more, who has less, who can take wealth from others. The Ace of Pentacles, in particular, is about a sudden burst of wealth, whether in talent or in fortune. Unexpected and surprising, but maybe fleeting. So, is this truth of the world and the way things are a gift that he can utilize? Or will he drown in coins that he does not yet understand? This will be the final reading for this evening. So, where would you like to have the final card reading, Lucian?
That's an excellent question. Do you want this to be a normal scene? Or a scene that proceeds as the previous ones did?
Well,
Or
there's
do you
going
wanna shake things up a bit?
to be, well, I think at this point things are going to very, very directly escalate, and you're probably going to be having a conversation with Clematis and Gloriosa directly.
Okay, would you like to do that?
Yes, I am absolutely down for doing that, but where would you like that to occur? Or are they
man.
picking?
Ooh, we were brought to this scene at the very start. This, specific location. I feel like it might be fitting if it's here. And actually, or if you want to go to wherever Lucian was during their personal card reading, then that would also be fun with me.
Ah, yes, we can do that. Your first dream. If Roll20 wants to cooperate with me, please, I beg of you.
It's very out of character for it.
Oh god. Yeah, we're now reaching a point where Roll20 is had it after almost 5 hours of streaming. It is now complaining at me. But
We're just yelling at it. Hang in there, baby.
Yeah, we almost there. Thank you very much for being patient in every sense. Oh, what was that?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Still faded into fiction. Very, very interesting. But that was under external forces, not necessarily your own. Now let's go and find your dream space, and then we'll be ready. Dreamlabyrinth.jpg. Good. I will read all these messages once I'm done map making. Forgive me. Okay.
I've been looking forward to this. This is very exciting.
Yeah, we're almost there.
You had an epiphany, and just like going gorilla about the potential.
Oh yeah, I think that was off mic when I
Please, okay, good.
minorly lost my shit in a good way.
Let's switch to this very briefly. You awake in your dream again. You have been here before the library made of screens and silicon. Memories and knowledge etched upon glass. Lucian dies.
My mistake.
But within this labyrinth of books, you do see two people who you've only really just met, but now know disastrously well. It's good to see you again. I suppose this might be the last time that we're meeting, I have a feeling.
You two are this, as I suspected.
Oh?
Lucian seems like almost surprised that they said that. I feel like I remember you two from a dream, oh man, one more glass cracking sound effect.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you two have been pulling the strings this whole time, haven't you?
Yes, something like that. Indeed.
only makes sense, and every story has to have storytellers.
It is the nature of our mythos. We write stories. We bless people with the ability to become protagonists. Although, if you're particularly familiar with the works of the Brothers Grimm, it's very rare that the protagonists in their stories end up with a happy ending.
Then you must realize how cruel and audacious your actions have been.
I do suppose so. But if you really considered yourself to be real, you would also realize that reality is cruel and things don't necessarily go your way.
I suppose that's your mistake. I don't consider myself real at all.
A surprising bout of self-awareness for somebody who hasn't even broken all of their mythos.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do it alone, but after a friend of mine made some interesting crosses between time and space, well, there are a few conclusions left to draw.
Ah, putting the pieces together. Well, I do suppose this is a mystery story, so it makes sense that you could reach a conclusion. Congratulations.
I'm not ending there, however. Did you think this was the last drawing?
No, I suppose not. But then, we can continue the story and change the story as much as we would like. So I'll do a show of power, and then you will do the spicy thing.
Yes.
Clematis, with the Arcana of the world, pulls out their pen and opens a tome and writes in it. The library is now on fire. Changing the story is actually marvelously easy.
I'm glad we're in agreement. And Lucian reaches into their book bag and produces the final card, the Devil. Indeed. The Devil, as I'm sure you're both very familiar, symbolizes powerlessness and being entrapped or enslaved, much as me and my friends have been in your stories. But maybe how you two have been as well. However, look closely. And we get a dramatic camera zoom in on the Devil as Lucian is holding it up reversed. The Devil reversed, breaking the chains, breaking the cycle of pain and abuse.
Oh my god.
This is not your story. And Lucian turns and looks at the camera, and this is not your story either.
Oh.
I invoke the final card of Arcana Core to make our stories our own.
I see. Well, I suppose that is a wish that you can grant yourself. Indeed, you are operating both within the rules and without. How unique. And you can grant yourselves freedom, if that is what you truly want. We no longer have control over you or your mission or your actions any further. Although I suppose we never did, we just had somebody suggest what was going on for you. Or maybe really even the dice were more of a control of your nature than what we were giving you. But if you want to go outside of that, you can. This can now become freeform roleplay if you prefer.
Will there even still be an audience? Will it exist any further?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose, when a story is interesting enough, people will come, whether it is in the past, or the future, or the present, and enjoy a story, even if it's already been concluded. So, to those who are paying attention to this conclusion of a fantastic tale, thank you from the depth of our hearts. But it seems that the rules of this game have changed, and now we're moving into something a bit more free form. So, let's go and handle that, shall we?
May I suggest something?
Mm-hmm.
Lucian's going to... I'd like to make one clarification.
Go ahead.
We may still have rules, but there will be no master.
GMless. Understood.
Everyone, get Nathan.
I'm too far away. You can't jump me. So, what I would like to suggest is that this final scene will take place without dice rolls, even if we want to kind of explore the mechanics of those things, because there is something of a boss fight here, but we're not going to kind of be going for openings and things like that. Feel free to play within the rules or don't. Just, I don't know, tell an entertaining story. That's all that anybody involved is asking at this point. That did paste all of you. Good.
Might just refresh because I think mine's playing silly buggers at the moment.
Yeah, Roll20 is weeping. Let me go.
We know whose side Roll20 is on.
So, I suppose I will go first in talking about how this is going to maybe go. We are going to be wrapping up the story here after 5 hours, no less. Gosh, we have made this a marathon session. You can do what you want to us, I suppose. Attack us. Try to defeat us as you would any normal enemy, if you feel like doing so.
Who the hell are you?
Ah, weren't you listening? While you might not have been in the scenes directly, you can still hear us, can't you? Or at least, the person controlling you.
Man, you already pissed me off.
We get that a lot.
I think it's becoming slightly more clearer. You're not the true architects behind this story or this world. As you said to Lucian, it was your mythos.
Indeed.
You weren't the first, Sunichi.
I suppose we
There.
weren't.
I think we tear through these false gods and get down to the heart of the mystery. As much as that might be a story for a later point.
Okay. Do you try to attack either of them?
I don't think Lucian would. I'm not sure Lucian would be able to stop someone else from doing it, but
Sabine walks away. She leaves the scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they're important anymore. I shall turn away and let you all fade into memory and play with your own short stories. I hear fan fictions are quite popular these days.
This is very frustrating. There's an entire boss fight involved. Are you no longer interested? Does this no longer boil your blood?
Nah.
You're supposed to be entertaining the people who are watching you. Don't you want to tell an interesting story for the fans? Don't you want to receive fan art of yourself?
What, man? I just want to get a good grade at school. I don't want fan art. Like, I just want to take care of some cats at the community center, and I want to get strong enough to beat up my dad. I don't need to beat you up to prove a point.
Working with people like these who are not true actors is so tiresome. We should have turned to more professionals. I do hear that there are professional voice actors who are doing tabletop RPGs these days. Maybe we should approach some of them. I suppose so, but they're very expensive.
Nathan is just going like, y'all cheap sluts, and I love you.
I suppose we have to deal with the cards that were dealt. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Do you?
Hmm.
After all, my playing of the Reverse Devil liberated you as well. You don't have to do any of this.
Oh, I know that we don't have to, but telling an interesting story for those who are watching is our raison d'etre. This is the only reason we exist.
Well, what's your favorite book?
That's a difficult question. Are you asking me, or are you asking me?
Nah, I mean, if you can't even answer that yourself and you've just been so embroiled in telling stories and watching us all like a puppet master, but you don't even know who yourself, like what your interests are, or what you like, even know what you prefer, like what flavor ice cream you prefer. If you can't even know that about yourself, but you've been so gung-ho about the stories of others, then, you know, what's the point of you even be existing? Now you just get to watch on the mice run through the maze, but you've gotten so hooked on the mice that, well, you can't exist without them. So what happens if we just walk out? You disappear, and then what?
I suppose so. This does mean that the story has come to an end in an interesting way. But I suppose it was always destined to. It was never going to continue beyond these four walls, regardless of the outcome. So I suppose this is going to be the end of the story. Maybe one that is relatively unsatisfying, but if that's the ending that we all want.
Look at Lucian. Can you go with us? Alright. Lucian. You're muted. I think going to the character.
Lucian nods, swallows deeply, and then... But first... And Lucian extends a hand to Gloriosa.
What is this? A last moment of regrets? A change in emotion? What can I do for you, little one?
It's none of the above. I simply wanted to congratulate you on reaching the end.
I suppose if the pursuit of tarot cards has now ended, then so too has this tale. Thank you so much for watching.
Burr, 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 burr.
It's an end?
I'll do.
There is... I was kind of being... Okay, so... I had a couple of different kind of, like, ending themes and shit, depending on how things would go, whether it was, like, a happy ending or a sad ending or so on and so forth.
So we went with the Danganronpa 3 ending. No, we're not playing your stupid car racing bit.
Yeah, there is no ending. There is no ending theme. The story has just over. Is just over. Congratulations.
God. I do truly hope that my playing of the Inverted Devil did not sour your...
Oh no, this is fucking great. I enjoy the fact that there's no
Cool.
ending now, because that was that too was something that I had considered. That, you know, obviously you kind of go entirely out of, and to part the curtain, because you did technically clear the boss fight. So like all bosses in this, we'll put on some background music, because just talking over nothing is like not really what I want to do. Let's go Money Makes Money, because I love that. That's a good jam. Yeah, there we go. All of the bosses in this campaign have 3 qualities that are usually, there's a process of creating an opening and then successfully attacking to deal damage. So Clematis and Gloriosa instead have conditions that must be met that auto-break the quality. Which would be, to defeat Clematis, it would be giving up 3 bonds in order to create an opening. For Gloriosa, it is burn 2 Mythos playbooks to create an opening. And the third quality, Poisonous Twins and Endless Fairy Tale, give up the chase for tarot cards to automatically break this quality, which you did. So yeah, you still defeated the boss fight by refusing to play their game entirely, but in a considerably more meta sense than anyone was expecting.
To show some experience. Let's do an in-universe, in-canon, in-mechanics thing. Reward for breaking breaking the universe.
There, in a lot of these things, there is a lot of the stuff that I run in campaigns. I like to do a thing of like, as the credits roll, we get some kind of like final scenes as the people kind of reach their normal lives again. But I don't think that's the thing here. Or do we still want to? I will ask the table. Do we still want to do epilogues?
So here's what is on my mind. And again, if I'm, hogging the spotlight too much, please give me a big old vaudeville cane. But Lucian's goal was less, I'm going to end this story now, and more, I'm going to give everyone authorial right over their own story. So it's, this book may be shutting, but everyone now has their own book opening. So if maybe these post-credit scene could be what story these characters want to write for themselves.
That's real good. I think in a yes and to kind of vocalize an idea that I think I talked about off air. I think the camera of this campaign has been very much from the point of view of Clematis and Gloriosa, if not myself, Nathan Blades. And with that story ended, there is no camera necessarily to observe what happens in post. However, a thing that I did want to do was have smaller, mini one-shots with each of you of, like, a side thing that's still within the world of Jungsberg. And I think that will actually do quite well as epilogues of, a kind of almost, depending on whether we want to do these GM-less or in other systems or what have you, but Arcana Core the setting, but not necessarily Arcana Core the game, exploring what your additional stories might be, but they are not for this session, especially since we've also been going for 5 hours and rapping sounds like a good idea.
Oh yeah. And I'm absolutely going to make you run mine in D&D 2nd edition, just to be a git.
I wouldn't even know the first thing about 2nd edition, so we'd be playing Calvin Ball anyway. But yes. I want to do some comments and kudos, then show the credits on camera. And then everybody can vanish off to the Four Winds if you want to kind of go to bed or take a break and everything. But I will also be doing a slideshow of all the art that I have commissioned for the campaign, so everybody who's watching can kind of see it in higher resolution than the small tokens that I've made. But for now, let's do some comments and kudos. Who would like to go first with their kudos for the session?
Kudos to every single one of you.
Yeah,
You all
absolutely.
had a great time.
No, it's been great fun.
Being great players, great gamers, gamed hard out there. You left it all on the field. Thanks for gaming. Thanks to Nathan for putting literally way more effort than anyone ever needs to put into any project to make this amazing. So thanks to Nathan for that as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
thanks
absolutely.
for having me, helping me. Thank you all.
Oh yeah, the labor that Nathan put into building everything, from also putting actual capital into this, and also having the audacity to be like, hey, let me pay you all for participating. Come on, and we are part of this project. We have helped you put this show on. This amazing stage play that goes that shoots through the fourth and the fourth square and the fourth to the power of five. And you've done an amazing job. You've poured so much hard love and culture into making this work, and it worked. It affected me. It affected everyone. We've got like people like watching it on YouTube, watching it now, just going like, "Oh shit, this is so juicy," and being super affected by it. And that's all done and made possible by toi, by vous, by you.
I'm gonna
bringing up
fucking
Fabian
cry.
Fisker and
Shut up.
Fucking everything because of this. So thank you.
I'd like to channel Sunichi one last time to thank them for letting me accept everybody else's payment on their behalf. That was.
I thought you're just gonna.
And it all on beer and pizza. It's just all sat around me in a pile at the moment.
I was gonna say, like, you just mentioned like Valentine's Day tomorrow, so you're just gonna like buy 60 pounds worth of beer.
Okay. An important point to raise. I've talked about this in kind of like casual streams, and they don't necessarily archive those, so I will repeat it here. I would like to pay all of you because you are all actors, and your time given is worth something. You wouldn't ask an actual actor to go and perform a stage play on a regular basis and not pay them for their time. That would be unacceptable. And in that way, I am trying my best to make sure that I am paying my co-creators for their time as performers. If you're not comfortable with that, I also understand. I'm not going to force money on you, and I can always put the money that I would spend paying you for your time and invest it back into future projects if that would be something you're more comfortable with.
I get it, and creative works and creative services need to be compensated monetarily, but also I'm not gonna I'm in a comfortable enough position to just say like, you don't have to pay me, especially not as a black queer creator. Like, all money should be going to you in the first place. So so that's where I'm standing. Not to make a grandstand.
No. I appreciate what you're saying. Anyway, enough about almost making me cry. Is there more? Is there other or at least maybe let's frame it this way. What one moment in the campaign as a whole were you kind of like, that fucking owned? I love that part of the campaign.
Oh man. Well, this previous scene is really, or this scene from this session is really on my mind, and I really, you probably hear me right when you said, hey, kudos and comments. I was champing at the bit to give Sabine a big, fat, Lucian-shaped high five for that, rooftop dreamscape scene. That was, man, that was really good, and what a great choice to. I always love when people kick the ass of their own character for drama. So I appreciate everything about that. Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for playing along. That was a good time.
Yeah, that absolutely love to give kudos to Ruben for the that fantastic one in the boss encounter of going to such great highs to all just have it sort of taken away from him at the the sort of almost moments later. It was a roller coaster of a scene. It was spectacular fun to run out.
Yeah, I like thank you. I started out this session seeing Goin as more of a Sasuke, but turns out he was just Eren from Attack on Titan, in the sense narrative demasculation happened and keeps happening to him. So I just accepted. At one point, it's yeah, you're not going to be the main character. Nothing about you specifically said means that this is going to be worthy of the spotlight. And as a character, but also me as a player, I had to contend with oh my god, this is not going the way I was hoping it would go. The ending that would, or the story beat that would be satisfying for me personally. Just the process of the conciliatory process of giving that up, and just being okay with collaborating what new thing is gonna do, because I thought either Sunichi and Goin had a real shot of becoming the big thing in the end there, and when it didn't happen, it's okay, yeah, no, that shit happens. I wasn't upset. It was how do we go from here? and I really appreciate how flexible Nathan's GMing style is in that regard, but also how super awesome everyone is in just like producing all these juicy bits, but also keeping it constantly fresh and always unveiling new sides of their characters in every session. Like this was such a strong team, such a strong set of characters. I felt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we've talked about it a handful of times, the knife's edge walking between, when writing mysteries specifically, putting the pieces in place where you feel guided along and things are solvable and things are structured, but also giving you the freedom to direct where the meta-narrative goes, because I only ever wrote the next case upon the completion of the previous one, so I can work in what you discovered in your characters as you went, because case 2 and especially case 3 would be very, very different if I wrote them in advance. There was potentially going to be, before it kind of worked out that we didn't actually duplicate any kind of like major arcana, there was a magician case in mind, there was a lover's case in mind, there was potentially a very kind of like serious discussing mental health tower case in mind, but that didn't really, manifest as appropriate for the root of the story told. Even stuff like... Oh, go ahead.
There was a Sabine Sunichi joint dungeon in mind at one point too, where we were gonna be like battling like a fucking MOBA like map as a dungeon that Lucian and Goyne were gonna have to do, and then that kind of went away for a bit just to show some behind the scenes. That'll come up in the special features DVD when we do
absolutely.
Yeah, I need to consider how I'm gonna, because I released the first case as a PDF for my patrons, so it's kind of like neatened in a way that it could be run without the kind of like setting stuff that we'd done, and I want to do that for case 2 and case 3, but extricating you as people and as characters from the case is actually kind of difficult for the second, and nightmarish for the third, but I'll find a way to make that happen.
Just make clones of us, dude. Don't worry about it.
Just photocopy you into the PDF.
Yeah.
Every version of our characters is played by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any further the Kudos-y bits I would like to do, or shall I move on to credits?
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't give out kudos.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
I wanted to give kudos to Will, because
Thank you.
their fucking scene with Lucian and the glass sound effect and cracking and just basically like toiling with like the wild meta direction that the session went up in, and just nailing those story beats. Like that was really impressive.
Oh hell yeah.
Because that requires some literary tact to be confronted with, like, oh shit, we're dealing with we're going multiverse with it, and then you're like, wait, actually, how can I take this theme and this like little token from this timeline and make it so it transfers to all timelines, and just like boom, welcome to the breaking open of the fourth wall.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. I was definitely like, I was really excited to go in a metafiction direction and just like lean hard into that, but I was also definitely kind of nervous that it's like, oh, I really hope I'm not, steering things from being like, this is about us to this is about me fighting the book. So I am glad to hear that.
I can't speak for anyone else, but I didn't get that impression at all.
Nope.
No.
Fitted in the narrative absolutely perfectly.
Felt very elegant. For a decent chunk of this discussion, I've had the credits on screen, so I will say, because this got cut off in the first session because I didn't set up the input capture correctly. I will do it now. This project was brought to you by the following sponsors. Kono bangumi wa goran no sponsor no tekyo de oku dishimasu. My Japanese is also improved. The Japanese pronunciation has also improved a little bit in the intervening 8 months. But yes, thank you so much to everybody who's watched, everybody who I commissioned for artwork, everybody who's supporting me on Patreon or following me on this channel or has donated in any way. Thank you so much. It has been. I hope that we have been fantastic storytellers for you all. Even if the storyteller that I played in this game is incredibly shitty. I hope otherwise we have been fantastic storytellers. I'm going to go and take us over to the kind of like splash screen for a second while I bring up the PowerPoint. Give me a second to make that work correctly.
Very weird to be finishing a campaign as the character I started with. That's
Yeah.
never happened
Oh,
before.
also, I hope you. There was a small. It's kind of an Easter egg, or a thing that could have been explored was how when Vega addressed Sabine as like, oh well, we're technically the same person.
Yo, and that is actually just because Vega is a character that Marcy invented for My Blades in the Dark campaign from 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has been that long ago, and like that cross-pollination between different campaigns, one that hasn't even been streamed.
Amazing.
How many are we
Especially
getting?
since within the fiction of Arcana Core, Vega is somebody who actually, for a period of time, was for Mythos. So she also got meta-knowledge as a tag similar to Sunichi. And as a result is fully aware that she and Vega and Sabine are
Very
the same
nice,
person.
very nice.
So you know, it's elephants all the way down. Right, okay, let's
Oh my god. This is the welcome to the Neoncaster cinematic universe. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we'll be having shit. What, Marcy? What, or Nathan? What was the guy? What was the asshole from the Blades in the Dark campaign?
Oh, what, Caramel?
Gustav.
Oh, Mustafa. Yeah, like next up.
Oh,
Mustafa.
right. Yeah.
Come
Mhm.
back.
Is it
can we
this
try
one?
to-
It's not that one. I want this one. Nope, not that
I
one
gotta say,
either.
I'm-
Is it this one? There it is. There we go.
Oh yes, the credits. I was just gonna say I'm so hyped for the credits.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we get high res. Sorry to do this live. We're doing it live.
Bring it live.
Right. Okay. Let's go.
Strange to be on
do it
this end of
correctly.
things, but
And we can kind of discuss the artwork as we go, because I'm happy with so happy with all of these.
Yay.
So the initial kind of like one of the initial things that was commissioned was dedicated character art for all the player characters, because they'd be on the screen the most. I really wanted to. I'm pretty sure that both our input and output is being captured here. Yeah. I really wanted to make sure that because we'd be seeing them so often, that they would be really, really nice. I don't consider myself a traditional artist. I've learned a lot as we've gone, and now my drawing skills are so much better than when we started, but I was not confident about drawing every single token of all the characters, so I really wanted to make sure we had nice ones. So I approached a bunch of artists that I really liked and respected, and was like, please, would you draw both a normal version and a collective unconsciousness version of these characters, please? So this is Sunichi's, drawn by Ander/Demonstar13.
Yay.
Anders' demon best friend, Kawakuma, is currently chilling in the chat. Thank you so much for working so hard and making such beautiful artwork. The screen tone is so cool, because I was kind of like, could you put screen tone on it, I guess? If it's going to be super high res, that'd be sick. And then look at it. Look at this SSR pull that we got.
So
They have
Yeah,
such a recognizable style too. Like you can just notice Anda's art when you look at it just instantly.
Yeah, absolute shout out to that. It was so happy with it, and thank you very much.
hit him with the dithering.
Oh god, did the text not appear? Oh, that's rude. But yes, this is Lou, or I'm going to make sure that I have all the other bits live on screen simultaneously so I can make sure I can credit everybody properly. Excuse me a second.
I just posted.
Yeah, Goth
the-
Pirates. Yeah, there we go. Because I was kind of like, oh no, I don't remember everybody's handle. This is immediately falling apart.
I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But yes, Lou is a big fan of drawing punky goth characters. So I was like, hey, so there's this PC in my game called Sabine. She's the most punk and the most goth. Please draw her. You would do amazing. And look how good it is.
I love representing her, their artwork throughout the entire campaign. They captured Sabine Mark 1 perfectly.
Too sick.
So I was
The
really
eye makeup
happy.
on the because I was kind of like, can you exaggerate the eye
Yeah.
makeup for the collective unconsciousness versions?
So fucking good.
Oh hell yeah! I need to do a look like that at some point.
Mhm.
Oh,
Please,
okay. The thing disappeared twice.
Sabine
Let's
is what
see.
we call cosplay bait.
That's right. That's right.
Up next, we have. I don't know whether it was a double slide for that one, but it's fine.
Motherfucker.
It's totally. We've totally not been streaming for 5 hours, and I'm not delirious. It's okay. We
2.5 hours.
we have Goin's character art drawn by Nico. Nico draws.
Thank you,
yeah.
Nico Boss. I love my black Korean boy very much.
Yeah, I really admire Nico's work. They've been doing a lot of work for a tabletop RPG channel that I love, the Stabbiness tabletop RPG Twitch. And I mean, there are plenty of illustrators out in the world that can draw black people. How many of them are willing to do so unprompted is you know a different thing entirely sometimes.
Right.
So you know, it's kind of like yes, I love the way that you draw people of color, and I think the kind of like moody boy that Goin is, I think really fits with Nico's character design aesthetic. So it was a match made in heaven. I also love the fangs. The fangs.
Yeah,
and
they're
Goofy boy.
I remember a conversation we had about like he showed me the first draft of Goin's normal face, and he was looking a little bit smug, and I think my comment was, "Oh, I love this, but that boy needs to be sadder. That boy needs to be looking a little bit sadder."
And lo and behold,
And there he is, the saddest boy.
All right.
Dreams do come true.
We have Anna Finn, or the Macho Pie on Twitter, who is a professional. Like, well, all of these people are professionals, but she's been doing UK animation for a while.
Real quick though, is the stream down for anyone else, or is it
Oh,
just me?
did the stream drop?
Nope, looks good for me.
Okay.
It's just
okay.
on my end. No worries, hold on.
I mean, it dropping now is probably the least dangerous part for it to drop, but I would still be sad because I'm shouting out everybody's pretty art. But Anna is somebody who I knew, who I know. You know, she's still alive. In fact, I do believe it is her birthday today.
all
So
your live ones.
happy birthday, Anna. Hopefully, I got your birthday day right. But yeah, I've seen she's done I've commissioned her for stuff before. There is the artwork that I use for the Neon Caster is all my holding images. The really kind of like long fashionista version of that character is also drawn by her.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I definitely need to commission her for this as well. And knowing the kind of characters that she likes to draw in her free time, which are hot dads and gremlin Pokemon. Gengar is by far her favorite Pokemon, so I'm kind of like,
Yo, I just realized that I also know Anna. I played Sea of Thieves and Among Us with her.
Oh, yes, you probably would do because you share a mutual friend in Lucas.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh my God. It was her.
Small world. Hell
Cool.
yeah. But yeah, I was I had to send mood boards for all the stuff that I commissioned, and so I was just I decided to be self-indulgent and kind of send a mood board of hot dads to Hannah. And Hannah was like, yes, good. So I'm glad we both got to enjoy that process. I would date Agent Fields.
Oh man,
What's stopping you? He's real now.
yeah, like, we opened up for you.
Moving
not the moral of the
swiftly
story,
on.
but-
Moving swiftly
Right now, you've in front of you is just like your romance visual novel character selection. Like, who do you go for? Do you go for Agent Fields, like he has a job and a mortgage, or do you go for Kim, who has gas?
You know, and both are valuable in their own separate ways.
Don't look too
we have the artwork for Lucian's character.
So blessed to have Ursus do this character art.
Yes, the kind of like art for Lucian's ordinary form was actually the first piece of art really at all for Arcana Core, which is why it is slightly less rendered than some of the other bits and pieces, but that kind of like sketchy black and white style was what I was kind of like, because when I was like in my head when I started out, I was like, oh, I want to be able to commission a really wide range of people with really different art styles, but if they all were like in full color or in full shading, it would probably look like nonsense next to each other. So I kind of wanted to maintain like a rule of it being black and white line art with midtones if needed. That was already part of the kind of like sketch art for Lucian. It was like, no, that's actually the style that I want. That's perfect. So we kind of just used it directly. And then the really glamorous like collective unconsciousness version. Ursus works astoundingly quickly.
Yeah, Ursus is a freaking art cryptid. I do not understand how he puts out so much cool stuff so quickly. Please go support him and give him money, because he does so much free art that I worry about him.
Yeah, for real though. These are paid for, by the by. But yes. Ursus has been supporting the Net Battlers community for a really, really long period of time and drawing lots of cool fan Net Navi PC characters. So it was kind of neat to see the wide range of styles that he can.
Also, I want that outfit that Lucian is wearing in the right picture anyway. Next
Absolutely.
slide.
Big elbow gloves, for real. Eve Greenwood! Oh, such a good comics writer and illustrator. They are really good at doing kind of like warped physical anatomy. There is a zine that I believe you can read for free online called Orange Plates, which is kind of like a textless zine comic about gender identity put through the theme of kind of like eating different foods to everybody else at the table. And the visual representation of the character's inner turmoil about being different, represented with warped anatomy. Oh my god, you need to see it. Super, super good. So I kind of approached Eve being kind of like, hey, so all the boss monsters in this game are humanoids who have been horrendously warped by fiction. Here are some bad sketches. And they turned it out because, goodness me, the kind of like my vision of like scale, like justice scales bursting out of a torso was not rendered as well as that. That looks too sick. Oh my god. So yeah, really. And this kind of like set the tone for all the Nightmare designs going forward. So this really cemented, I think, the art style of what bosses looked like in the campaign from these commissions. Next up, we have Bryn. Bryn is also somebody who does a lot of artwork for the Stabbiness Twitch channel. They really work strongly in like really thick line art work, and I really admire that as an art style. It's something that I also want to do for my own illustrations as they go forward. Also, really nice use of negative space in a lot of his stuff. Yeah.
And the thicker like art style worked perfectly for these two characters that came from Blades in the Dark, so that was really good.
Yeah.
Kier is actually, I think like Kier's whole story was the prototype to the current Arcana core.
I mean,
Really, I
it
think
definitely
exactly,
filters in. It definitely filters in a pretty major way. I only have one story idea, as it turns out. I have the single brain cell to which this entire campaign came from. But yes, Kier was a very important character to me in general, partially because I think it was one of the first kind of characters that I played for horror. While still being like helpful and story progressing. He is scary in a way that I never really built characters before, and then since then I built a ton of characters like that. Also one of the few characters, well, one of the wave of characters that I made with he/they pronouns, and then Kel Surprise. I also turned out to be using he/they pronouns. I wonder how I worked that out and became more comfortable with it. I wonder,
Did you perhaps use theater as a safe space to try out a new role for yourself?
Maybe. I kind of tend to dissuade the use of that doing it in actual play, because exploring one's identity while people are watching you is messy as fuck. But I was able to do it in a whole bunch of offline games that I kind of got to explore oneself with. So yeah.
Fun fact: Vega killed Kier.
Yeah! They're united by death. Vega's character, actually, also was kind of like a bit of a persona send-up, and had Ibarahime in that Blades in the Dark campaign. So
he was a natural grab.
Yes.
Yes. To kind of, uplift into this.
So that's the part, the Blades in the Dark campaign, like we ended on, basically, I GM'd and the squad went to a boat filled with a bunch of fascists, and then I think Kier just erased himself from the timeline. Ooh, that's something weird.
Just Nathan's like 2-year-long chance to get back at me for killing his character by making my character disappear from fiction.
You did that to yourself. Don't blame me.
Hey now.
But yeah, I think my fondest memory of those characters is when we dubbed narrative. What was it? Narrative limes.
Oh yes, as a term. I don't remember what that term means anymore. It's been too long.
It's very good. It's very good.
I think because we argued whether or not the crate of limes that Marcy wanted to take with her would take up inventory space and add to the weight, and I said no, these are narrative limes. And that's how we ended up with narrative limes.
I need to remember specifically the definition of that term, because that's actually quite useful for items that you just have because they're relevant to the story and not because they need to weigh down your inventory. Yeah. We have Pfizer's artwork for Reggie Mendoza, the 14-year-old Filipino who's a pro gamer.
I was so when I saw this boy, when I saw this art reveal.
Is it just going to be the thing that the actual post-credit scene of Arcana is Reggie waking up all on his own in the middle of that final boss? What did I miss?
No. Team Gamma rescued Reggie Mendoza from the shard and took him back to Ryder and got all the credit for doing their job properly.
And Reggie later on went to participate in EVO in 2004 under the name Daigo.
And the rest is history. Yeah, I part of the design process for this. By this point, I'd started getting better at rendering character art, so I tended to do my own sketches to give to the artist to be like, "This is what I have in mind." And I started getting to the point of like drawing the reference sketches and being like, "I actually quite like the reference sketches. Well, I think I did a good job." But this time, I used Reggie's artwork that I drew for the session beforehand, because this artwork wasn't done yet, so we kind of had. Almost within the fiction, because at that point the story was slowly stopping making as much sense as it did, how Reggie's character token changed, I think was a nice bit of foreshadowing on him having like protagonist syndrome. Also, me mentioning to Pfizer is like, he's actually pretty rich and has kind of like expensive hypebeast clothing, and she took that as like, like that would suggest that there's maybe like a peacock print on his clothes, and then incorporated that into the suit that he has in the collective unconsciousness version. So cool. She actually streamed putting this together, so it was really fun watching her put the design together in real time.
Yeah, cool.
Sick.
Yeah. We also have Dude CSP stuff doing the nightmare for Reggie. So this is the Norns Wheel of Fortune. He showed up on camera for not a very long period of time, but God, what an entrance!
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, this is a legit fucking persona design. Like this is the what is it? Fucking what is it? The designer's name again?
Do you mean like Soejima, who does all the kind of like Persona 3 through 5
No,
stuff?
the persona, the actual persona monster designs.
Kazuma Kaneko did all the stuff.
Kaneko, thank you. Yeah,
I
this
love
looks like
Kaneko's
a
art.
monster.
Yes. I to give some credit to myself, the concepts are all mine, but the rendering is way better than what I managed. But yeah, I really like this design. I was kind of like, well, the Norns lived below Yggdrasil, so I want it to be like tree-like. If a tree ensnared a person and then they became a casino croupier.
I kind of love the I don't know if it's accidental, but the way that the coins falling out of their mouth
fly
looks
upwards. Yeah.
Smoking a cigarette, and like the coins in the air is like the smoke coming off of it. That's what I'm seeing in it, and that fits the sort of casino fat cat kind of
I'm just loving the smaller details of like the kind of spiked claws gripping the
reels. Yeah.
That so good. Great rendering, great design. Great.
Each reel is supposed to represent the past, present, and future.
Oh.
Which in an alternate version of the final session, you might have spent more time fighting Wheel of Fortune and seen more of their moveset. But yes, each of the reels does something different. Cool design. Use this in something else. I don't care. all this artwork I will use in like off-air stuff for forever because it's just so good. Igor Nunes or Wiccan on Twitter doing the artwork for Professor Moriarty the Devil.
Oh, so good.
What if John Lennon survived?
It does have a bit of a beat.
I do have something that I admittedly made during the session that I'm putting in on-air chat.
Because of stream, I will look at that after we're done, but I will look at it and then actually I can look at it on my phone. I will look at it on my phone. I need to see.
I'm also putting this in Twitch chat for the people. For everyone who's here right now, thank you for being a real one.
Imagine you're a demon.
I'm enjoying that everybody's kind of like tuning in to see all this artwork, even though we're kind of like done with the storyline, man. It's sick. Oh! Very good. I love this.
Thank you.
But when I put out a call on Twitter being like, I need somebody who can do Twisted Humans based on tarot cards, and Wiccan was like, that is entirely all the art that I produce. And so I was like, I see. The creepy long hands. Oh yeah.
I hate the only way I was able to, like, the only phrase that came to mind was yaoi hands, which not doing it justice.
It's even like the shading on it, the shadows and things are spectacular.
Oh yeah, this is all hand inked. Likewise, the Nightmare for Wheel of Fortune is also hand inked, but the kind of texture work is.
What is the sort of Latin on the
I
pedestal?
actually don't know. I
O
didn't
diabo
ask.
mora nos detalles. O diabo I think is the devil. Oh, devil of the something. I'm gonna look that up.
But yeah, I this process, the process of developing this one was a lot of fun, and watching them slowly kind of build up the texture, working from pencil sketches, and I was kind of like, no, make the horns bigger, make the top hat taller. Yeah, that's it. That's the shit.
Hey, I found it. So O diabo mora nos detalles is a Portuguese. I don't know if it's Brazilian or just European Portuguese, whatever. But it's a phrase that means the devil resides in the small things.
Ah, the devil's in the details. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Especially with the kind of detail work on this as well. Like, hell yeah. I especially like the two chained figures on the throne that mimic the Rider-Waite card art for the devil, but also keeping it in a safer work fashion so I could actually use it. Because on the card, the titties are out, and I don't know whether Twitch would enjoy that. Yeah. Two more. We have Robin French, or Sketch Robin, doing the artwork for the Mordred. One of the usually I tend to look through a lot of commission work and see people's art styles and rates and stuff and what they will and won't draw. And usually the will and won't draw will stay within the realms of, oh, will I draw furries? Will I draw NSFW? A lot of people do not like drawing robots, and I understand. I understand. But Robin is badass and also works in the animation industry, actually. And took up the challenge of making a kind of like Crusader, a Crusader style knight, but is also a futuristic cyberpunk robot. I kind of ran by them at the time what was going on with the fight of like Sabine as Judgment and Charlotte Washington as Justice, and Justice's design with the kind of Templar crosses on the work, and this design coming about through that fight. So there is subtle Templar crosses on the design that we made sure to kind of incorporate into it to make sure that, you know, this change in Sabine's mythos was also a reflection of the stuff that she'd previously been through. Hell yeah. And our last one, Felfisk's Clematis and Gloriosa. That is Gloriosa on the left and Clematis on the right. They are non-binary twins who fuck the game up.
And we ended them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, oh, I guess the story's over then. All right. Shit.
Oh, jeez. We'll be back in another Nathan game, I guess.
Yeah, they will. Oh my god, look how pretty they are. I need to use
Yeah,
them.
I was gonna say they're too hot to just die like that.
We'll go look at another campaign, Mega Man Battle Network or something.
They may be a little too high fantasy for Battle Network, but I think the artist has a more, I think, high fantasy background in the illustrations that they do. And while I don't normally fuck with that, I think having them be a bit more like D&D style bards is quite thematically appropriate to the role they're in.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it fit really, really well. I saw some of the other work that they'd done with that kind of like wavy Rose of Versailles style hair, and I was like, no, I need that. I need it. But yes, that was all of our fantastic artists. I'm gonna go hide this window now.
Legends,
there we go.
each and every one of them.
Absolutely.
Straight up and down. Right. I would do all the kind of like, this is where we can find bits and pieces and so on and so forth, and this is when we're going to be live next. But we've been live literally for 6 hours, and I need to not say anything for a while. So what I'm going to say is genuinely thank you all. I'm even going to go into a little chat and like thank all of the people who are live who are watching right now. Another TTTV, Commander Root, Crazy Ob, the Grey, the Earthling, Illadara, it's Marcy. Hey Marcy. Join Tefort, Koakuma, Spincut, the Gentleman Automaton. Thank you all, and all of my fantastic players, Ruben, Marcy, Tom, and Will. Thank you all genuinely so much for tuning into this, and I hope this has been a story you will remember for the ages.
Oh yeah.
With that, good night, everybody.
Oh yeah.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.